Hello and welcome to the podcast We Are Selling, brought to you by Realtair, the home of pitch, sign and sell. Each week we look for people that are having success in understanding the digital sequence of prospecting. And today's a great story as we go down to the Illawarra area of New South Wales. And joining me is Monique Field. Monique, welcome aboard.
Hi Lee, how you going?
Monique, absolutely fantastic, and I thank you for joining us. And just a little bit about your story before we get into our sequence. You came from the furniture industry.
I did. I spent 10 years there importing furniture from all over the world, and that was, as much as I loved it, it was a bit of a hard slog. So I can tell you, as much as real estate probably has a lot more emotional ups and downs, it doesn't probably, you're not really doing the heavy lifting.
Yeah, it's a 7-day-a-week grind, that one. And when you come into real estate, people say, oh, you'll have to work hard. And you're like, yeah, okay. So you then
working 7 days in real estate is not working hard, especially if you love it. It's different. It's probably more mentally draining than it is anything else. But when you're actually doing the physical and the mental, trust me, real estate's a walk in the park.
Well, how long have you been in real estate now?
I've been 6 years under my own brand and 2 years with another agent before that.
Now, under your own brand, we got Monique Field Property. And you're with the Smile Elite Group, which does your administration and compliance. Is that what they do?
That's exactly right. So we basically run our own businesses and we have them aside from us. So we share a lot of data, which is fantastic. And they do, as you said, all of our admin, trust accounting, compliance. They're rigorous at that, but I think we all have to watch our compliance. But it's doing all the stuff that you don't want to do or that takes up time so that we can do, the bits that we're really good at and the bits that we like.
And that's exactly where we want to be now. I want to discuss what you've learned and observed from the lead generation process and what you've been doing with the pitch price update, because you came on my radar yesterday when we saw just how many you've got out this year. I think you've hit the 2,000 mark already. It's been a huge year. Take us through the sequence. What did you do?
Followed the sequence. We did the training and they basically told us what to do and we just went, okay, that's what we do. So I think what people miss is, I think a lot of people don't like, I don't know, it's doing it, but it's very simple and very easy. Once you've done the first one, whether that be you might have met somebody and you're doing an appraisal, or you might have met someone and they're really only curious. It depends what sort of level of detail you're going to provide for them. But once you've done it once, you can set reminders in and it will remind you, like you'll get an email sequence come up saying, these people need to hear from you. So simply you open it up. We then make sure the properties are relevant to that particular property that we know about. If not, we make it more relevant and we send it off again. I was always looking for a way to stay in contact with clients without actually bringing up the word real estate, because we all know that, it's really difficult to know everything about a client when you've met them only once, to just ring them up and ask them about their grandchildren or about their whatever else, So you're trying to find a common ground. And we know that if people have ever been on the fence about selling their house, real estate is the common thing that we all have in common, but you don't have to make the phone call straight away. So what we do is we send, the update out if they haven't decided to list and sell at the time that we've met them. We run a lot of other lead gen as well. It's not just out there door knocking or going out appraising, or it could be Facebook leads, wherever we've met the people. Once you've sent something once, it knows what you sent. So whether it's a full update, whether it's just a price update, a suburb report, or whatever we do, it knows what to send again. You can actually personalise that. You can send it to their mobile, you can send it to their email. We all know that mobile has a pretty big uptake, like straight away, more or less opening it. But because we also know when they open it, it's your cue to be able to call them. Like you wouldn't call them straight away, but we know they've opened it, so we know they've engaged in what we sent them. Like it's pretty amazing technology. And so once we've then made a call to them, you can actually just say, hey, I was just driving down the street, or I was just whatever, because you can't say, I saw you open my email, or I saw you open my. You don't want to give all the secrets away, but it's an in to actually give them a call. And then you can actually say, hey, I've just sent you or whatever. Yeah, I just opened it. Oh, did you? Oh, what did you think of it? most people will disclose they got it or they opened it because that's the reason you're ringing them. And then a conversation can go from there. So you don't actually have to find the small detail to talk about them. You're actually telling them why you called them. You don't have to tell them that you knew they opened it. You're just saying, hey, this is the reason I called. By the way, this week I sent you a such and such. Yes, we got it. We opened it. Oh, what do you think? Have you been following the market? Whatever. It just gives you an in to discuss real estate, and doesn't have to be their house. It is the state of the market. And it's a real soft approach.
What you're doing really well there is working off the rebound, because as you know, when you first started in real estate, you're just ringing anyone hoping somebody wants to speak to you. But working off the rebound, meaning, okay, it's rebounded, that they've opened it, seen it 3 times today. Now I'm calling. That means you've got 100% connection and breakthrough versus, let's ring 100 people and one person might want to speak about what they're doing. Tell me about ID for me and how you've blended that into it, where people may not know what that is.
Yeah, so ID for me, I think most people, if they follow Tom Panos, they definitely know about it because he loves it and he tells everybody about it. But again, it's a subscriber pays, I suppose, database where you can find people in your patch, your farm area, that their name, their phone number, their email, and you've got to be quite clever because at one address could be 4 or 5 people. ID for me also often knows their age, so you can have a fairly good guess at who could be the vendors, otherwise it will be their children. So you don't want to be marketing to the wrong person. But we basically use ID for me, and sometimes the email might bounce, so the data's only as good as what they know, but we find it is the most current and relevant data that there is anywhere at the moment. So we use ID for me to make sure because if you've got a really good database or a CRM and people haven't notified you of an email change or a mobile, ID for me can often replace the old data that you've got, so it keeps it relevant. And that's how we can stay in contact with our people more regularly as they change or move addresses. If you didn't know they moved, it's a really good way of keeping your database fresh and up to date.
And Monique, how many of these are you trying to get out a day as part of your sequence?
Well, it's not so much a day. Well, now that we've actually got them all in a sequence, and remember I said to you of an email, tomorrow we'll have, say we wanted to send them every 3 months as a suburb report. They will pop up tomorrow and we'll say, these people need to hear from you. And it could be 10 that we did that day 3 months ago. It could be 20. So it's trying to stay on top of whenever we've been notified to do them. So it could be, in a week, you could be sending 100 out, but not all in one go. We do them when they remind us to do them. And if that becomes on our to-do list, we make it a real good priority to make sure we get them out, because it's a way then, as I said, just setting them 3 monthly. If they don't open them, we don't press to call them all the time, but at least 6 monthly when they come on, we go, okay, these people need a call now as well. And then it could be that they have slipped into their junk mail. And we said, remember when we last saw you, we said we'd send you some updates each quarter. Did you get the last one? They might say no. We'll say, look, we did send it. Can you check your junk mail? And if we're falling into junk, at least we know that they've gone looking for it. And then it still gives you an in to say, hey, what it was just recent sales in your area. And then it allows you then just to talk freely about the market without actually talking about their property and feeling like you're interrogating them. And then you can softly say, so, last time I spoke with you, you thought you just whatever. Like yesterday what happened was a lady opened one of them up. So I give her a call, and they were travelling to Gundagai. And I said, last time I spoke with you, you were travelling. And she goes, yes, I was in Tasmania visiting and we got onto that. Oh, yes, so where are you going to Gundagai, da-da-da-da-da. And I said, then we've done all the nice things. And then I said, and how are you going with that decluttering? She goes, oh, my God, you would be so proud of us. We started doing this and that. So I didn't have to ask her about the timing. I said, well, there's only 6 weeks to Christmas. And she goes, oh, no, we won't be ready before Christmas. I said, so what if I diarise to call you around the 3rd or 4th week in January? How do you think? She goes, that's probably a good time to touch base. I didn't have to ask any of that. It all just come out in conversation. So it wasn't an awkward conversation. But her husband was driving and she was in the car and she opened up the report while she was driving. So it's good to get them close to when they've opened them, because they're actually on the computer, because we know they've been looking at it.
How long have you been using the sequence?
Oh, we've been using it. This is our 2nd year.
Right.
I was a little bit disappointed actually, because we stopped using it after the trial period, and I wasn't aware that the company had done a group deal where everyone was already getting it, this, that, and something else. And I went, what? How could you leave me out? I'm actually one of your best prospectors. I was so cranky. And then once we got back on, seriously, I blew up because I went, no, we were the best at using it. And so then we started using it again, and then we actually had a problem with the sequence, and we ended up calling one of the support people saying, hey, this isn't working like we set it up. And they fixed it, and now it's working like, a dream. So it's just about following the sequence. It does it once you've automated it, you don't have to go and do it again. All we do is open up and go, are those properties, because it chooses properties for you in that last 3 months, are they relevant to this property? If they're not, we drop a few out, we add a few in, and away we send it. And then we actually use the link. So you can just send the link, as you know, straight to a mobile. We do both. We send it to the email and to the mobile, and we can add a little bit more into our emails, a little bit more talk, a little bit more dialogue. You can personalise it. Do you know what I mean? Whereas in the mobile, you've only got so many characters to send out and get your point across. But yeah, we do both. We send it in an email and we send it in a text message.
And Monique, how many future sellers would you have registered for 2024?
Well, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but I actually, I was going to try and FaceTime you, but technology became our challenge. We actually have written down on our board all our pipeline that we think we may be dealing with in 2024, but we also have all of our yearly past appraisals, and they are all on pitch. That's why you've got so many. We're making sure that if anyone was ever on the fence, that they're getting updated regularly. We don't harass those that, we're just curious or that might have come through a competition we run or something like that. We don't want to be that. We don't want to be that agent. But it's a real soft approach, and people, I think, need to understand that the more that they hear from you regularly on a soft basis, we should be top of mind when it comes time to selling.
Well,
that's
Monique,
what it's all about.
Oh, it is. And I know you've got family overseas, and you fit in quite a bit of travel time when you need to, and this thing just keeps ticking along in the background. So when you do arrive back on the land, boom, people wouldn't know you're not there because these are still going out.
Well, they don't. I actually just spent 6 weeks and then another week in the UK with my son, or our son, and I worked every day. There's nothing you can't do if you're prepared to actually be available to your clients. And they were amazed. I was up at 3 o'clock every morning talking to them. They're going, what time is it there? And all of the clients that needed to know that I was away, they all knew. So all of my vendors, anyone I needed to talk to, I was in constant contact. But the people that don't know were still hearing from me. Like, my phone was on. If they rang, they got me. One of the things that I think people really need to take a really good look at is everything becomes easier under automation, and this is one of those things, and AI as well. Like, I'm blown away by some of the stuff that we're being shown with artificial intelligence. I know for good reason, not bad, but good. It really can accelerate your business. So it does allow you to have a little bit more flexibility, because everybody knows real estate is, it's long hours. So we've got to work smarter and be able to provide just as much commitment to our clients, but in a smarter way that we can actually not have to be, working from 6 to 10 every day. Like, we've got to become smarter as well. And there's so many tools out there that allow you to stay top of mind with your clients if you're prepared to learn them.
Absolutely.
And implement them.
Absolutely fantastic. Monique Field, great story, mastering the sequence. Thank you for joining us on the program, and we wish you all the best for 2024.
Thanks, Lee. Thanks for having me.